Hey guys and gals, Bob LaChance, Chris the Drummer Bowles from this week's PreforeclosureDailyGrind.com tip of the week. This week we're gonna dig into a little story and a little closing that we just had happen to us, and we have a lot of tips and tricks that are actually ingrained in the story that we're going to be talking about. We had a condo here it's not in this town, but in Meriden, Connecticut, where lo and behold, values have plummeted. Okay? So we have a deal right now with Bank of America, which seems to be every video we talk about has some kind of a Bank of America loan in there. But we promise next week we will not talk about Bank of America at all. We actually do have a video set up right now where the deal actually is closing today at 1 o'clock, and it's with the old IndyMac Bank with One West Bank. So that's next week. But this week, it's going to be, the whole takeaway of this week is make sure you guys keep persevering through deals. Like you know, or like you may find out if you haven't dealt with Bank of America, that sometimes in some of the loans they do take a little long. This one deal we're talking about started how long?
About 5-6 months ago.
5-6 months ago. Okay, we submitted an offer from day one. Client came to us; they wanted to sell their condo. Okay, so we submitted an offer day one, $65,000. What happened was it went from phase one, and then they declined it. Okay? Immediately. Well, that's all right. First, we put their offer in, then they ordered their appraisal, and then declined the offer. Okay, so what we did is we just kept marketing the property, kept showing the property, and then lo and behold, we got an offer in 3 months later at the same number that we were willing to buy the property at. You know, market values kept going down, going down, going down, at $65,000. So what they did is they reordered an appraisal. Okay, reordered the appraisal, went to that was at phase two. So now it's at phase two, right?
Well, once the appraisal was done.
And once the appraisal was done, it went to phase two. Phase two looked at it, they looked at the valuation, they looked at the numbers, then lo and behold, they approved it.
Market value continued to decline, so you know, whereas 65 grand wasn't even a possibility a few months before, 4 months before, it all of a sudden was market value.
Yeah, so a good takeaway here, okay, is number one, obviously don't quit on a deal. Never ever quit on a deal. You know, we have a responsibility to a seller, or if you're working on it on behalf of an agent, attorney, mortgage broker, whoever you're working on it on behalf of, you have, you know, an obligation to see this deal through, period. Okay, period. It's kind of funny. Chris had a call last week in reference to a question on, and this is actually really important. Does a short sale deal ever end in reference to if there's no short sale date? If they kibosh the offer, is your deal done?
Right, and that's, I mean, the answer to that is it's not. I mean, you can obviously keep, you know, submitting different offers, higher offers, newer, you know, whatever you get up until, you know, foreclosure. I mean, if obviously if nothing's approved, and the bank forecloses.
Yeah, because we had a buyer actually call the office last week asking Chris that question. Actually, was it the buyer or was it the listing agent?
It was either the agent or the investor, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, so just so you guys and gals, if you don't know, if your first offer is just kiboshed, is canceled, does not work out, is the short sale deal done? No, it's not. No. You could keep working the deal. Okay?
Keep marketing the property. You know, try to find a new offer.
Or you could raise your offer to fit whatever their guidelines are.
Right. If you're the buyer yourself.
Okay. That's number one takeaway. Number two takeaway. I don't know if you noticed, Bank of America typically, and I'm saying typically because it is typically, it could change tomorrow. But every 3 months they will send out a new appraiser if there's a new deal on the table. So if they decline your offer, guess what? Don't worry about it. You could go back in 2 to 3 months, typically, and I'm saying typically because nothing's set in stone. So typically they will order another appraisal and then they'll reevaluate a new offer. In this case, it's actually the same offer. So that's a great takeaway there. Let me see here. The order another appraisal takes away 3 months. Dealing with, and this is another one. This is on top of that. When you're dealing with agents, okay, and on this particular deal, I had an agent bring me the deal. Sat down, conference table with both of them. I had the agent here, homeowner here. Explained the whole scenario. Homeowner looked at us. Okay, how are you getting paid? Talked about that. Listen, if we could buy the property obviously that's how we get paid. We purchase the property, and the idea would be to resell it. Okay, that's one way. Or if our wholesale deal doesn't work out, our obligation is still to you and also to the agent. Explain that. And if that happens, then we get, we ask the bank to pay us a fee. If that doesn't work out, we ask the agent to pay us a fee. No problem. So we got that in writing with the agent. Now this comes to closing. Now let's fast forward on this one. All right, so obviously our wholesale deal didn't work out at the time. So now Chris gets the acceptance letter. Who comes calling? The agent. Hey, how you guys getting paid? Yeah. So Chris dealt with that objection right away. Well, what were the main points that you touched upon when dealing with that objection?
Just discussing the fact that there's two things, because he wanted to see if either the bank would pay us or if the buyer could possibly pay us.
Which is okay, and we'd rather do that so we don't touch his commission.
We'd rather do that, except with Bank of America, the problem is they do not pay third-party loss mitigation fees in any form. So that option was out. The other issue was that the buyer is a FHA buyer, as most are these days. Yeah. So here's a buyer who, your typical FHA buyer, they were coming to the table with just barely enough cash to cover their down payment, their 3.5%.
So for them to pay us a fee is slim to none.
It's slim to none. The only way they could possibly do it would be to lump it in with their loan, and FHA, pretty much any FHA lender is not going to allow that.
Yeah, or they could get it from Uncle Joey or Uncle Louie.
Yeah.
Or Uncle Timmy.
If he's willing to, yeah.
Right? So,
if he's willing to.
Yeah, but anyway, besides that point, yeah, that's a good point though. I lost my train of thought for a second here. It's the holiday season, right, Chris?
I know, right? Yeah, New Year's this week.
New Year's.
Well, at any rate, yeah, that's why at that point, in my conversation with him, I went through those options and explained those points and those facts to him, and and essentially I said, well, we're going to have to. We don't want to, we never want to, but, we have to get paid via a referral fee out of the commissions. Right. We'll see if we can take some, maybe we can bump up the attorney fees, get a portion of that.
All of this, even though we had it in writing with them.
Right.
So just know that this may come about and know how to answer those objections.
Yeah, this is something that you just may want to, throughout the process, if it's an agent that you don't normally work with or don't have a lot of deals with at a given point in time, it's probably just a good tip would be just remind the agent throughout the process, keep this fact in front of them that you might arrive at this point where you have to do a referral fee, because then when you get the written approval,
always use that as a fallback position. Again, majority of the time you need a real estate license though to do that.
Yeah.
So just know that. But anyway, that's this was pre-foreclosure tip of the week, right?
Yeah.
Again, go to ManageMyShortSale.com. That's our online short sale management and loan modification management tool. We're retooling the whole system. It's going to be second to none towards the end of January. So if anyone right now is looking at this video and it's past January 2010, just go back, check out ManageMyShortSale.com. In the meantime, this is Bob LaChance, Chris the Drummer Bowes from Pre-Foreclosure Daily Grind Tip of the Week. You guys have a fantastic New Year. That was good. Yeah, there's some fucking tips there.
Yeah.
Ooh, we knocked some tips out of there, dude.